One small habit in the morning could be the difference between living independently and losing control over your life. Think about it. How often do you rush into your morning routine without a second thought? You wake up, get out of bed, maybe skip a glass of water, grab your coffee on an empty stomach, and go about your day as usual. It seems harmless, right? But what if I told you that these seemingly insignificant choices could be quietly working against you, putting your health, mobility, and even your independence at risk? As we age, our bodies respond differently to what we once considered normal. What worked in our 40s or 50s might now be causing dizziness, heart strain, or even increasing the risk of a dangerous fall. Yet, the good news is that small adjustments can make a huge difference. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 common morning mistakes that most people over 70 unknowingly make. Mistakes that can lead to serious health complications. More importantly, I'll show you how to fix them easily, so you can protect your independence and continue enjoying life on your own terms. Before we begin, let me know, have you ever experienced dizziness in the morning? If you're ready to learn, type 1 in the comments below. Mistake 1. Not drinking water first thing in the morning. If there's one simple habit that could drastically improve your mornings, it's drinking water as soon as you wake up. Yet, many people skip this crucial step without realizing its long-term impact. Take Frank, a 73-year-old retired firefighter from Chicago. For decades, his mornings started the same way, rolling out of bed, heading straight for the coffee pot, and sipping his first cup while reading the news. He figured he was doing everything right. After all, coffee wakes you up, right? But over time, Frank noticed something unsettling. He often woke up feeling sluggish, lightheaded, and unusually stiff. Some mornings, his head throbbed before he even made it to the kitchen. It wasn't until a routine checkup that his doctor pointed out the problem: chronic dehydration. Overnight, your body loses water through breathing and sweating. By morning, your blood is slightly thicker, circulation slows down, and your organs function at a slight deficit. This might sound minor, but for older adults, dehydration can contribute to high blood pressure, poor circulation, and even increase the risk of heart attack or stroke. Think about how you feel when you wake up. Do you ever experience dry mouth, muscle stiffness, or a general sense of grogginess that lasts longer than it should? Those are red flags that your body is in need of hydration. The problem is, by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And here's where many people make it worse: grabbing coffee before water. Coffee, while enjoyable, acts as a mild diuretic, meaning it encourages your body to lose even more fluids. Frank's morning routine, which had seemed harmless for years, was actually amplifying his dehydration. After his doctor's advice, Frank made one small change. He drank a glass of water before anything else each morning. Within weeks, he noticed a difference. His headaches became less frequent, he felt more alert, and even his morning stiffness improved. The fix is simple. Start your day with a full glass of water before reaching for coffee or breakfast. If plain water feels unappealing, try adding a slice of lemon for flavor. This tiny habit can boost circulation, aid digestion, and help your body function at its best from the moment you wake up. Skipping morning hydration might seem trivial, but over time, it adds up. And as Frank learned, small changes can mean the difference between just getting through the day and thriving. Mistake 2. Getting out of bed too quickly. Drinking water first thing in the morning can jumpstart your body, but how you get out of bed is just as important. Many people don't realize that moving too quickly after waking up can set the stage for dangerous falls, dizziness, and even fainting episodes. Take Margaret, a a 76-year-old retired schoolteacher from Austin, Texas. She had always been independent, starting her mornings early, making breakfast, and heading outside for a short walk in her neighborhood. But one morning, everything changed. As soon as she woke up, she swung her legs over the bed and stood up, just as she had done for years. Except this time, the room spun. Before she could steady herself, she lost her balance and fell backward, hitting her nightstand. Luckily, Margaret only suffered a minor bruise, but the scare made her realize something was wrong. At her next doctor's appointment, she learned that standing up too quickly after lying down can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure, a condition called orthostatic hypotension. This is especially common in older adults because circulation slows during sleep and blood pools in the lower body. When you rise too fast, your body struggles to adjust, leading to dizziness, blurred vision, and an increased risk of falling. It's the same reason many seniors experience momentary blackouts when standing up too suddenly. Falls like Margaret's are more than just an inconvenience. They can lead to serious injuries, hospitalizations, or long-term mobility issues. The good news? This mistake is incredibly easy to fix. Doctors recommend a 3-step approach to getting out of bed safely. Wake up gradually. Before moving, take a few deep breaths, wiggle your fingers and toes, and stretch your arms and legs. Sit up slowly. Roll onto your side and use your arms to push yourself into a seated position. Let your feet rest on the floor. Pause before standing. Stay seated for a few moments. Move your ankles and allow your body to adjust before standing up slowly. After adopting this routine, Margaret noticed an immediate difference. She no longer felt dizzy in the mornings, and her sense of balance improved. A few extra seconds in bed might not seem like much, but they can prevent a fall that could change your life in an instant. For Margaret, this simple habit meant she could continue enjoying her independence, one steady step at a time. Mistake 3. Not warming up before moving. Getting out of bed too quickly can be dangerous, but what you do next is just as crucial. Many older adults underestimate the importance of warming up their bodies before taking those first steps in the morning. The truth is, skipping this step can lead to stiffness, joint pain, and even unexpected falls. Take Harold, a 78-year-old Navy veteran from Seattle. He had always been a strong, active man, proud of his ability to take care of himself. But over the years, he started to notice something. Mornings felt harder. His back ached when he got up. His knees felt tight. And sometimes, his legs didn't seem to move as smoothly as they once did. One morning, in a hurry to answer the phone, Harold swung his legs off the bed, stood up, and took a step forward. But his stiff joints and muscles weren't ready. His left knee buckled, and before he knew it, he was on the floor. The pain was sharp, and worse than that, the fall shook his confidence. Like many older adults, Harold assumed morning stiffness was just a normal part of aging, something he had to live with. What he didn't realize was that, as we sleep, our muscles and joints become less flexible due to reduced circulation and inactivity. Overnight, synovial fluid, the natural lubricant for our joints, thickens, making movements less smooth. For someone in their 20s, this isn't a big deal. But for those over 70, stiffness combined with a sudden movement can be a recipe for a fall, a pulled muscle, or even a serious injury. So, what's the solution? A simple morning warm-up routine. Doctors recommend taking a few extra minutes before standing up to ease the body into movement. Ankle and wrist circles. While still lying down, slowly rotate your ankles and wrists to get the blood flowing. Knee lifts. Gently bring one knee toward your chest and then switch legs to loosen up your hip joints. Seated shoulder rolls. After sitting up, roll your shoulders forward and backward to release tension. Standing support. When you finally get up, use a sturdy surface like a dresser or bed frame for extra balance. Harold started doing this routine, and within a few weeks, he noticed a dramatic improvement. He felt more stable, less stiff, and more confident when moving in the mornings. Sometimes, it's the smallest adjustments that make the biggest difference. For Harold, taking an extra 2 minutes each morning meant staying in control of his mobility and his independence. Mistake 4. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Easing into movement in the morning helps protect your body. But what you put into your stomach next is just as important. For many, the day doesn't truly begin until they've had their first cup of coffee. But drinking coffee on an empty stomach? That's a mistake that could be quietly harming your health every single morning. Meet Linda, a 74-year-old retired nurse from Denver. She had spent decades in the medical field, always reminding her patients to eat balanced meals, stay hydrated, and take care of their digestion. Yet, ironically, she ignored her own advice. Every morning, her routine was the same. Wake up, grab a steaming cup of black coffee, and sip it while watching the sunrise from her porch. At first, she didn't think much of it. But as the years passed, Linda began noticing a pattern: frequent acid reflux, stomach discomfort, and occasional nausea. Some mornings, she even felt jittery and anxious, despite not being under any stress. It wasn't until a visit to her doctor that she realized what was happening. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach can spike cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, which in turn increases acidity in the stomach. This leads to irritation of the stomach lining, acid reflux, and digestive discomfort, especially for older adults who naturally produce less stomach acid as they age. Beyond digestion, coffee without food can also cause a sharp rise and fall in blood sugar levels. The caffeine is absorbed rapidly, giving a temporary energy boost. But without food to slow down the process, it can lead to an energy crash later in the morning, leaving you feeling even more tired. Linda was surprised. She had always thought coffee was just a harmless habit. But when her doctor suggested a simple fix, eating something small before her morning coffee, she decided to give it a try. She started having a handful of nuts, a banana, or a piece of toast before her first sip. Within weeks, the difference was undeniable. The acid reflux diminished, her stomach felt calmer, and she didn't experience that mid-morning energy slump anymore. For Linda, it was a wake-up call. Sometimes the habits we think are comforting can actually be harming us. A small change, like eating before drinking coffee, can make mornings feel better, improve digestion, and keep energy levels steady throughout the day. Mistake 5. Skipping breakfast or eating too little. If drinking coffee on an empty stomach can upset digestion, skipping breakfast altogether can set you up for an entire day of fatigue, brain fog, and even increased health risks. Yet, many older adults underestimate the importance of a nourishing morning meal. Take George, a 77-year-old retired mechanic from Detroit. For years, his mornings followed a simple routine. Wake up, drink a quick cup of coffee, maybe grab a piece of toast, and then head out for his daily errands. He never considered himself a breakfast person and often felt fine in the mornings, so he didn't see the harm in eating very little. But by mid-morning, things changed. He often felt lightheaded, weak, or struggled to focus on simple tasks. On some days, when he was out grocery shopping, he noticed his hands shaking slightly. At first, he blamed it on aging, but as time passed, these symptoms became more frequent. One afternoon, after nearly fainting at the checkout counter, George's doctor confirmed what was happening. His blood sugar levels were dropping too low because he wasn't fueling his body properly in the morning. Skipping breakfast or eating something too light can cause sudden dips in blood sugar, leading to dizziness, lack of concentration, and even an increased risk of falls. This is especially dangerous for older adults, whose metabolism and muscle mass naturally decline with age. Without proper nutrients early in the day, the body struggles to maintain energy levels, weakening both physical and cognitive function. But George's case wasn't unique. Many people believe that if they aren't hungry in the morning, they don't need to eat. However, as we age, our hunger signals weaken, meaning we may not feel the need for food even when our body desperately needs fuel. When his doctor recommended a protein-rich breakfast, George was hesitant but decided to give it a try. He started eating a boiled egg with whole grain toast, Greek yogurt with nuts, or oatmeal with fruit. Within weeks, the difference was remarkable. His mid-morning fatigue disappeared, his focus improved, and he no longer experienced shaky hands or dizziness. For George, breakfast went from being an afterthought to a non-negotiable part of his day. And in the end, he realized, a strong, healthy morning routine isn't about age. It's about making the right choices, one meal at a time. Your mornings set the tone for the rest of your day. As we've seen, small morning habits, whether it's skipping water, rushing out of bed, neglecting to warm up, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, or skipping breakfast, can have a bigger impact on your health than you might think. But here's the good news. Every single one of these mistakes is fixable. Think about Frank, Margaret, Harold, Linda, and George. Each of them faced challenges that seemed minor at first, but slowly chipped away at their energy, balance, and overall well-being. A little dizziness here, a bit of fatigue there. But over time, these small issues snowball into serious health risks. The reality is, aging doesn't take away your independence, poor habits do, and yet the solution is so simple. A glass of water in the morning, a slower approach to getting out of bed, a few minutes of stretching, a small snack before coffee, and a proper breakfast. These are not drastic changes, but together they create a foundation for strength, clarity, and stability as you age. You deserve to feel good in the morning. You deserve to move through your day with confidence. And most importantly, you deserve to stay in control of your own life. So the question is, what small change will you make tomorrow morning? Because the choices you make now can define the life you live in the years to come.
This audio is made with Audio Toolkit for Windows Store, downloaded for free now.